There's some developing news that is not too surprising overall, and it happens to be Amazon laying off approximately 10,000 people this week. And so I just came across an article, wanted to take a quick minute, bring it to your attention, share some thoughts on it, and more importantly, get your thoughts in the comment section. So let's dive right in. So here's an article just released off the New York Times. It says Amazon is said to plan to lay off thousands of employees. So to plan, either you are or you're not. So they're just trying to get the story out here ahead of time. But it says the job cuts of approximately 10,000, which would start as soon as this week, would focus on the company's devices organization, retail division, and human resources. And real quickly, it says Amazon plans to lay off in what would be the largest job cuts in the company's history. It says the total number of layoffs remains fluid, but it says that around 10,000 would represent roughly 3% of Amazon's corporate employees and less than 1% of its global workforce of more than 1.5 million. And of course, they blame, it says, changing business models and the precarious economy have set off layoffs across the entire tech industry, including Elon Musk and everything of that nature. We got Lyft, Stripe, Snap, you name it. But what's not too surprising, it says, is the pandemic produced Amazon's most profitable era on record as consumers flocked to online shopping and companies to its cloud computer services. And that most profitable era also came at the same time they were handing out stimulus checks and all types of other things. So not too surprising there. But it says earlier this year, Amazon's growth slowed to the lowest rate in 2 decades as the bullwhip of the pandemic snapped. So basically, a year with no stimulus check, a year with overcompensating people for unemployment. Not too surprising, to say the least there. But anyway, here you have New York Times letting the cat out the bag first, that Amazon is laying off 10,000 people. Not too surprising. So it just adds to the list of companies that are already laying off heading into the holidays. At the same time, there's so much uncertainty, especially with the political situation and the global economy, to say the least. So I want to take a quick minute to share my 2 cents on this. But then again, this is a major company because it's one of the biggest companies globally. And this should be more of a reminder for those who are looking at things from the bigger picture. Really take advantage of the opportunity and the time you do have to shore up any loose ends you have, making sure you're trying to do as best you can to protect and preserve yourself by trimming off any fat that's unnecessary, as well as saving a little bit more, taking advantage of the relative cheap prices we have right now while there's still items.
All right, blase, hey, shalom, Akim. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory, honor to Howard Bashimi, Howard Shai, Bashim Kakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the elders, the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Bashimi, Howard Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a quick lesson. This is from Rethinking the Dollar. This guy by the name of Mike. He's like a forecaster. He studies the money system and economic woes and ties and job markets and so forth like that. And he brings out some pretty good information. I subscribe to him. I watch him from time to time, just to stay up on the latest thing, with the economy and the job losses, etc. And, he's about, I believe he's a Christian. He knows about the Israelites. I believe Apostle Tahar made mention of him at one of the live streams, and I believe he came on, or vice versa, something like that. But he brings out some good information. But see, his thing is, sustaining Babylon the Great. And, I believe when Apostle dialected with him, he told him that America was pretty much on its last leg, and there's no reviving or saving this place, man, because it's pretty much on life support. So basically, Amazon to lay off 10,000 employees, the biggest layoff in history for the company's tenure, so to speak. It's not looking too good for the American economy, man, okay? Because like we went into we went into a camp on how the diesel fuel shortages within a few weeks, we can totally be out of diesel, just depending on what's in the reserves or not. But a lot of times, like the brother made a very good statement. He stated a lot of times Esau is just capping. He capitalizing off fear mongering. He capitalized off that because when you're fear mongering, like he even when you're fear mongering, basically, man, people, you can capitalize on it because people are going to spend money. So the fact that you have a shortage of diesel in the country and people are like pretty much hoarding diesel and buying it by the gallons, I mean, that's capitalism right there, and greed for the corporations and the banks, etc. Like this whole pandemic thing, Esau made the bag off this whole pandemic, off getting people up in frenzy about this virus, etc. Like fucking hand sanitizer went up from 99 cents to $6-7 a bottle of that stuff, man. $14-15. Something that was literally like 99 cents. People were selling it for $15-20. People made a killing off masks, But nonetheless, man, this place is done and it's getting ready to fall, man. Okay, and Lord's will, man, this place falls sooner than we think because, hey, man, we're ready. Okay, we're ready for the kingdom, baby. I'm ready, man. I've had it with this place, with this world, with these people. I've had enough of it. You know, I'm quite frankly tired of it, man, and I'm tired of dealing with these people, you know. But we gotta navigate and remain peaceful if possible. But regardless of that, man, this shit is getting old and I'm tired of it. All right, and I know brothers feel the same exact way. So reading here, this is the book of Ecclesiastes 12 chapter, start verses 1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Right? So don't be waiting to serve the Lord when you ready to get off the cock carousel, when you ready to stop being a wicked Jake in the streets, when you sold all the drugs and now all of a sudden you want to give your life to the Lord. You know, on that told God I'll be right back type stuff. No, man. The Lord calls us into this thing as young men because he desires us in our young age when we're full of vigor, okay, we're full of energy, okay, we got the work to do it, to get it done, okay. He desires young men, like going into the military. They want young men, okay, because you're agile, okay, you're fresh, you know, and they can mold you up. That's why the scriptures say, remember now the creator in the days of thy youth, right? Because in the days of our youth, the Lord can use us, man. It says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. But it says, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Okay, and we're coming into some very deleterious times, man, dark times. Okay, because the average Jake, they don't study the economy. Okay, they don't understand the markets. Like, they look at certain markets and they can compare and contrast certain residual woes that's happening within particular markets, job markets, real estate market. But see, they don't understand the dynamics of the economy on how it's manipulated. Okay, because honestly speaking, like the real estate market, that's not recession proof like a lot of people think. Okay, because you can buy a house during the time of a recession, but let's just say if you can't pay off the house, let's just say if you go into foreclosure, the bank is going to come and collect on it, and then all of a sudden they're going to put it back on the market so the next sucker can buy it. And the same thing with vehicles, man. Okay, but the housing market, the car industry, it's not recession proof, man. You know, a lot of people are losing their homes. A lot of people are selling their homes. Like they say right now is a buyer's market, but not necessarily a seller's market. You know, but nonetheless, these things are happening in Amazon land on 10,000 employees. They're gonna feel that. Okay, because it's much business as they generate. You would think that they will be hiring more employees because how much everybody shops there. Okay, Amazon is a very, very popular company, man, by this guy Jeff Bezos, but I believe he stepped down if I'm not mistaken. But another you-ish person owns it. Okay, but regardless of that, man, they made money off Amazon. I mean, to the point you see the delivery trucks out all hours of the night, man. And the fact that we're in holiday season and they're laying people off, that's rare. Okay, because this is the time that distribution centers, you know, retail stores and stuff, they hire a lot of people just for this season. I remember when I was like 18 years old, I was 18, 19, I was young, I was real young then. I had the seasonal job at Macy's. Okay, it's called the Walnut Room. Okay, it's anybody familiar with Macy's in Chicago on State Street, you know exactly what the Walnut Room is. It's basically a holiday attraction, and it's a very popular attraction for Chicagoans that know about the history of the city and the old Marshall Fields and Macy's, etc. That Walnut Room has pretty much been a standout thing since 30, 40, 50 years, probably more than that. But used to be very, very popular around the holiday season because of the big Christmas tree in there. And I remember, man, they literally hired probably like 60 employees on the spot. And we worked all the way from, I think we got hired on in October, November, and we worked all the way into the end of the year. You know, and certain people dispersed and went to other stores in the department because usually after January, after New Year's Eve, nobody goes there for real. It's not like a popular thing throughout the year, but for Christmas. But nonetheless, they hired 60, 70 people, man. Same thing with the Toys R Us distribution centers. A lot of times they need help around this time, but they're laying people off. Okay, and it says here, and the door should be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he should rise up at the voice of the bird, which is your alarm clock, and all the daughters of music should be brought low. And that's why all these rappers are dropping dead. You know, the latest trend was this guy Takeoff. You know, got pretty much put to death due over there's different stories out there, but allegedly it was over a dice game, and I believe his entourage fired on him first, and he got caught in the crossfire. But regardless of that, this is prophecy, man. Okay, that's why it says in the door should be shut in the streets, meaning your jobs, man, your grocery stores, you know, your box stores, what they call the chain stores or the big box stores, like the shopping malls. Okay, I believe like shit, 70% of the malls in America, indoor malls, are getting ready to pretty much, they've been losing money, man. You know, the retail sector is pretty much dwindling down. Like, that's why when you go to places like these big malls, like Mall of America, you know, Ford City Mall, River Oaks Mall, those of you that's familiar with Chicago malls, North Ridge Mall, Oak Mall, you know, all those particular places, they're not generating good business like they used to. Okay, because honestly speaking, Friday was the day to go to the mall. Everybody's in there spending paycheck, they're spending their money. You know, like I used to work in the mall when I was 17. I used to work for a clothing company, and shit, by the time I get out the mall, I just spent my whole paycheck, man, because, you know, everybody shops, you know. But now it's dead. Okay, nobody's really shopping like that no more. You got sales and shit, you know, like I found a nice pair of boots that was on sale over the weekend, man. You know, some nice boots that's pretty pricey, but they was on sale for the low. And I was like, well, let me go ahead and grab them shits, you know. But nonetheless, you know, this place is falling, you know. And it says, and also when they should be afraid of that which is high, and fear should be in the way, and the almond tree should flourish, and the grasshopper should be a burden, and the desire should fail, right? Because people, they're not going to want to go to work. People are going to just take it to the streets. They're going to start robbing, pillaging, you know, looting, you know, putting people to death, selling people like shit. Like we went over on a live stream. Hey, freaking alcohol and gold and silver are the only things that really didn't fluctuate in price for real. Gold is pretty much the same. Silver went up just a tad bit. And alcohol, I mean, it's going up, but gradually, but it's still pretty much the same amount. Because during the time of prohibition, when hell break loose, and alcohol was going to be like liquid gold in that day, because people are literally going to sell or trade alcohol for that. They're like, look, man, you can have my wife for this bottle of whiskey right here. Give me that bottle of whiskey, you could take my wife and my daughters. And that's how bad it's going to get, because it's going to get back to what they call a bartering system, which bartering deals with trading. Okay, this good for that good. Okay, you got silver, you got gold. Okay, well, let me get a loaf of bread. Or if you got, let's say if you got sheepskin, okay, sheepskin, buffalo skin for this particular commodity for 3-4 bottles of wine, I will trade you for that, because money is getting ready to be obsolete, man. Okay, it's going to be null and void, you know. And it says, because man goeth alone to his home, and the mourners go about the streets, right? And you're going to see people out here looting, looking for food, you know, asking for handouts. And on top of that, you're going to have anarchy out here. Okay, you're going to literally have like a purge like scenario, because it's going to be a war with the haves versus the have-nots, man. Okay, so this is the book of Ezekiel 7, and I'm gonna start at 12. It says here, the time has come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn. It says, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. Okay, so that's the point. You know, you selling homes, you selling vehicles, you selling a service. Eventually, it's not gonna have any weight to it, because people ain't gonna have the money to buy it. And it says, for the seller should not return to that which is sold. Why? Because we're going to have an economic collapse, because they're going to bring in a mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. Okay, that's the next major prophecy, and this is the reason why we're going through these economic woes, because they want the chip to be the savior to bring everything so-called back to normal. But see, the Lord has a different plan in store for you Edomites, man, because the minute you bring the MOTB, that's when Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to speed this prophecies up, man, and we're going to be up out of here. Okay, Lord's will, we of the elect. It says, for the seller should not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, and which should not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. Right, man? Because your money is not going to save you. Your business moves, your power moves are not going to save you. Your savings account is not going to save you. Okay, and the only thing that's going to be savior, satisfactory worthy in that day is the men of the Lord. Okay, the men of the Lord. Okay, that's the only hope we're gonna have, is in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man, that you people don't know. You see? But hey, one last precept. I'm gonna start here. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 16, and I'm gonna start at verses 40. It says, O my people, hear my words. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims on the earth, meaning we're gonna have to move around. Okay, you ain't gonna be able to just sit in your nice home and wait this thing out. No, because you're gonna have fucking chaos everywhere, man. Okay, every aspect of the society is going to be chaotic. Okay, you may find a few places here and there to hide, You know, once people get killed off, because the scriptures say that a man should desire to hear another man's voice, because there should be like 10 left to the city, or it appears to be. Because people are going to hide, people are going to be literally running for their lives, etc. You know, but it says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. Right, man? Because for the simple fact, you can't put any type of sustainability and faith in this place, because the scriptures say, woe to them that trust in uncertain riches, man. Okay, America is dwindling the drain, okay, and it's not gonna bounce back. It's gonna get worse, you know. And it says, he that occupy merchandise as he that have no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that should not dwell therein, and he that soweth as he should not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard as he should not gather the grapes. And they that marry as they that should get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers, man. And therefore they that labor in vain. Because it's all vanity at the end of the day, because it's like this rat race we're running. It's like, what the fuck? We're getting up, going to work every day just for them to raise the price of goods. You know, like I looked at my rent bill today, they taxed on some shit. Now we got to pay for water. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, for one thing, this apartment, you know, space is decent. And like, it's not even worth it, for one thing. Second of all, now, and I was telling the landlord, like, I'm like, well, look, man, it's not really fair. And, you know, they don't care. But I was just speaking my mind. I'm like, it's not really cool that the consumer takes on the debt of your shit. You know, but that's how it is. This is a consuming based society. So basically the customer pays for everything. Because back in the day, a couple years ago, apartment complexes or developments, they used to pay for sewer, water, trash, you know, all that was included in the amenities. Now we got to pay for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the investment companies, they feel like they want to cut corners and they want to cut the margin prices, but nonetheless they want to charge us so they can continue to make their profits. You know, like the cost of living is going to go up, but yay, wages ain't really increasing like that. So now you got to work extra harder, you got to work more time, overtime, find a business, and you got to work around the clock to even get that moving in order to sustain some type of decent living. But you know what? We're coming into the time that we're going to have to walk away from all this shit. And honestly speaking, man, I can't wait. Because that way, when that shit is off our shoulders, man, only thing we got to focus on is the truth and what's ahead, man. You know? So, yeah, brothers, man, the prophecies are getting ready to come to pass, brother. It's not looking too good for Babylon the Great. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and the Bible.